we talk about what they did last year. So two additions I kind of want to bring up in regard to that. So we got Max Strus and Emoni Bates to the Cavaliers, and Emoni obviously coming out of college, but Max Strus kind of a proven guy for the Heat, not super high three-point shooting, but I think they'll both add a great offensive threat to shooting, hopefully find a little bit better rhythm. And yeah, like I said, during his time with the Heat, Strus was a great bucket getter who he scored when they needed to. And it was mostly in rhythm, right? Like it'd be coming off a screen, catch and shoot, just kind of kick and pop type of guy. Even can drive a little bit. And like I said, somewhat low three-point percentage shooting last year, but the year before that, he was up over into the 40%, I think 41%. So I think he could bounce back to even a little bit higher if they start kind of getting more to that playmaking style for him. And Emoni Bates, to me, I think he might be a real hidden gem for the Cavs team. He's a 6'10 small forward who had a huge breakout year offensively his sophomore year at Eastern Michigan last year. Not super well known for his three-point shooting, but I don't know if you watched Summer League, but he was shooting a ton of threes, and he averaged 17.2 points per game and 6 rebounds per game while shooting 44% from the field and 40% from behind the arc in every single all Summer League game. So right now he is a two-way contract, but I could see him getting a little bit of a seat in the full rotation. I guess I don't know fully how all that works, but how do you think adding guys like that would help this almost ISO style basketball team?
I really like the addition of Max Strus for them. You know, it was a big contract, 4 years, $62 million for a guy, but, you know, despite him only connecting on 35% of his three-point shot attempts last season, he did attempt around 7 of them per game, and they were tough shots too. So, you know, he can definitely increase that more, but when you have a guy attempting the difficulty of shots that he was and commanding constant attention from the defense, that will help generate more easy opportunities at the rim for everybody else. Another, you know, major shooting threat like him, and I do imagine he'll probably be a part of their starting lineup. You know, it's probably not guaranteed, but I like him in there as a fit more than Caris LeVert, who they, you know, move back and forth between their starting lineup, or even Isaac Okoro. I like Strus better than that. You know, it's kind of a small lineup, but, you know, with that two big front court, kind of makes up for it from a rim protection standpoint, and obviously they didn't falter too much last season with being the number 1 ranked defense. And then you mentioned Emoni Bates. I really wasn't very high on him, to be honest, after his first year in college. And then he went to a small school, Eastern Michigan, and, you know, I didn't take too much away from that. I mean, yeah, he should be dropping around that many points per game and improving, but he definitely did surprise me during Summer League. He looked really good, a lot more, you know, overall refined than I thought he would, given that he didn't play well during his first year of college at a legit D1 school. And yeah, he played well. I'm not sure he'll be a part of the rotation. He kind of has a somewhat similar game to Caris LeVert, who's already kind of their sixth man. So it might be a year or two before we see a lot of Emoni Bates, but they were very high on him. Their coaching staff made some good compliments towards his way, and I would not doubt it if he had kind of a minimal role in their rotation and maybe translated a little bit of that into value. But a guy you didn't mention that I'm also pretty high on happens to be Georges Niang. They added him with a 3-year, $25.5 million contract, and he might not be very well known, even less known than Max Strus, definitely. He's another high-volume three-point shooter, and that will be another threat for them within their offense. He'll definitely be coming off the bench, I imagine, but he shot 40.8% from 3 on nearly 5 attempts per game, 9 attempts per 36-minute average during the past 3 years combined now. And honestly, one of the most reliable three-point shooters over the past half-decade. He's not old, he's only about 30 at this point. Not a bad defender, not great, but his value will come from a catch-and-shoot standpoint from the wing and corner. And when Donovan Mitchell and Garland are collapsing the defense, maybe even Mobley here and there, he's a great guy to kick out to. He's played with guys like James Harden, he's played with Donovan Mitchell before back in Utah. I think he'll be a great fit, a really silent addition to their offense. I'm actually nearly as high on him for what they needed in regard to that three-point shooting problem, quote-unquote, compared to even Max Strus. I really like that addition. Other than that, though, they didn't really add too much, and that's kind of where I think people are getting a little bit lost in the Cleveland Cavaliers. They did make a huge addition. Only kind of Strus, Niang, Emoni Bates, if anything, was probably more hyped up than either of those two. Other than that, they just added end of the bench guys. Ty Jerome, who I like, actually had a pretty solid year with Golden State last year, averaging about 7 points, 3 assists, and 39% from 3 in only about 18 minutes per game. And then they brought back Tristan Thompson for a locker room bet, and then Damian Jones for a little more front court depth, vertical athleticism. But again, a lot's gonna rely on their internal growth here from not only a young talent standpoint with Mobley, Garland, even Donovan Mitchell a little bit, but it'll be internal growth from a cohesion standpoint. They need to build more chemistry, they need to refine their offense more while maintaining around that top 3 defense, and that'll kind of be what I'm looking for them to do this season.